What's up, everybody? I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Nick. Thank you so much for tuning into Morning Breath today. If it's your first time and you're wondering what Morning Breath is, it's a daily devotion where one of our pastors and a co-host come into our studio, read a chapter on air with you guys, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, or the radio.
Yeah, and if you would like to find out more information about East Coast in general, you can go to our website, that is eastccc.us, or download our app.
Yeah, let's get into the chapter.
You are listening to the Morning Breath Podcast. Please enjoy today's show, hosted by Pastors Matt and Jessica Stallbaum.
Hey, what's up and welcome to Morning Breath. I am Matt, and this is Jessica.
Your drive time devotion sure to jumpstart your day.
I was purposely not saying it. I was trying so hard.
And I said it because I complete you. It is funny to say it because you're probably listening to this at any time.
Do not drive and watch YouTube.
Yes. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, if you don't know, we have a YouTube channel, East Coast, and this show's on it.
Yeah. It's fun.
We should say that a lot.
We should.
Wait, is that, Nick, is that in the intro that this is actually a video for our show? Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
We have to say that then.
That we have a YouTube channel?
That there's YouTube stream of this.
Yep.
A lot of people listen to it on
the radio. Yeah. So on Monday, we have it where you can see us. So if we're referring to our facial expressions or what we're wearing and you're on the radio and you're like, how am I supposed to know that? Well, you can go back and find it on video and see us and see our hands flailing.
Yeah. And by the way, we're also looking for new businesses. There are applications available to advertise on this show. If you're interested, if that's something that you'd like, we do charge for it because this does cost us quite a bit of money to be on the radio.
It's not free.
It's a way to it's not a advertisement, it's a sponsorship because it's I think 91.5 is a non-for-profit radio station.
Yeah.
So but it's a sponsorship, and your ads will go up, your business will be promoted, and there's a way to do that. The best way to find that out would be to
call the front office, 321-452-1060.
Or you could message our Facebook, East Coast Facebook.
Yep.
Or you could reach out to me personally on Instagram or Facebook and ask. I'll eventually find it, but that's not the best way.
Not the best way.
And if you want to follow us on Instagram or Facebook, check it out. Matt Stallbaum and Jessica Stallbaum, both platforms. We're not on TikTok.
No. Or anything else.
We have strong feelings about
lots of things. Like, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
We have strong feelings about lots of things.
Just everything.
Yep. We're not opinionated at all.
Nope.
So we are in September. So happy birthday month to you. Woo. Your birthday's at the end of the month. And so we're looking forward to that. I love celebrating you. No, September 6th.
So we've started a new message series called Reset. And it's really about coming back to the heart of God in this season. A major emphasis on prayer. In fact, all of our campuses are boosting their intercessor prayer team or restarting an intercessor prayer team or
what does intercessor mean?
Intercessor prayer team is essentially a prayer team that meets every week and prays for the church, and it prays for the lost, and it prays for the desire for as the church grows and the needs that we're running up against. It's praying for hurting families. It's praying for people, and they'll be meeting on Sunday mornings here all across every location. So there's 4 campuses: the Avenue Worship Center, the Parkway, which are both in Merritt Island, the Cocoa campus, which is off Friday Road on for 524 on Friday Road rather, and then our Vieira campus currently meets in the high school, and we're building out our new building that is right off of Tavistock and Vieira Boulevard. Woo! Yay! All right, so if you're interested in being on a prayer team, we have amazing prayer teams during the service, and we're building out our behind the scenes intercessor prayer team. Just come, tell somebody, sign up, get involved.
Yeah.
Go to the website, sign up on the website.
Intercessory prayer is great because you get to just come, and if you're kind of more of a behind the scenes person, it's a great way to still be on a team, but
get to know people
and
exercise your gift.
Yes.
I'm taking the words out of your mouth.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, exercise the gift of prayer that God has given you.
Yeah.
We need you.
Yes.
We need your prayer.
Yes, we do.
In this season, we need it more than ever.
For sure. Yeah. So we always do a question of the day, and we're running out of questions. So again, all those ways that we told you to contact us, send us your questions as well. And today's question is from Nancy Gammon, one of my favorite people. And she is Pastor David Gammon's wife, and they lead the Mezzanine, which is our young adult church that we have here at East Coast. But her question for us is, what is our favorite TV show of all time? Isn't that a hard question?
Of all time?
Of all time.
That's tough.
I've had some time to think about this, so I will go first. I think The Chosen is not, well, I guess we have to call TV show. Anything that's streaming and you can watch on your TV is a TV show. So The Chosen is about Jesus, and it's amazing, and it's not, what's the word when it's like lame? It's not lame. It's not lame at all.
Lame Christian
it's not
stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually produced extremely
well. Like so good, so impactful, and you have to watch it. But I have to say, another show that I love and that we watched on Netflix when Netflix, do you remember this? Was a DVD subscription program.
Oh, yeah, I remember
And
that.
you had to get the DVDs mailed to you. And you could choose the 1 DVD or the 3 DVDs.
Oh, yeah.
And we started at the 1 DVD, and then we're like, oh my gosh, you have to wait. You have to mail it back. You have to wait till they get it before they send you another one. We're moving to the 3 DVD subscription. They didn't do that for very long because I think they realized this is ridiculous. Let's just stream everything, right? It was kind of like
the
when that
technology
talk
wasn't available.
but it was like right on the cusp of it, and so they
Yeah.
didn't do the DVD thing. I'm sure they don't do that anymore. Anyway, the show is West Wing. Do you remember watching that together
yeah.
on the DVD subscription thing?
I would not put that in my top 5,
Oh.
just so you know.
I think it's
I
like
would put
good memories.
King of Queens
King of
in
Queens
there.
is a good
We
one.
watched every single King of Queens.
Yeah.
And currently, I would put in SEAL Team
It is
on
a good
CBS.
show. Yeah.
There's
I
a
left
there's
that
a
one for
couple
you.
other SEAL teams that are like, that show? I'm like, not that one, the CBS show.
Yeah.
Love SEAL
Yeah.
Team.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
We both watched that one
It was a
together.
really good show. That was one where you started it and you're like, you'll love this show. And I'm like, whatever, I don't trust your opinion in TV. And then
But like my favorite show to watch myself of all time, 12 Monkeys. It's a sci-fi and you would hate it,
I
but
hated it so much.
mind-blowing.
So weird. I hate sci-fi, I think. And when you told me to watch it, it was like the most gruesome, allegedly.
Oh, there was one.
The most
one
gruesome episode that there ever was. And so
It was just
do
cold.
not-
It was just cold. Like it was about like Eastern European like dictatorship. They just were killing innocent people.
killing innocent people.
What happens?
I know, but I'm not going to watch it, or subject myself
yeah,
to it.
I know, but still, that was like
Yes.
the toughest one.
So I think we went through that, and then I lost trust in him.
Oh, and then I brought you back for a second one, and it
It was
the second worst one.
It was the worst. So I'm like, I don't trust you at all in your TV recommendations. So I didn't watch SEAL Team for a long time. And then I finally did, and it was really good.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't believe me on SEAL Team, but now you're in. Well, we've talked too long about this. Let's
Okay.
get on to the chapter.
2 Samuel chapter 2. So we were back in the Old Testament, and I love flip-flopping back and forth. And I'm going to read all of it. Okay. So it happened after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into one of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said to him, go up. David asked, where shall I go? And he said, to Hebron, or Hebron. I'm going to go Hebron. So David went up there to Hebron with his 2 wives also, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail the widow of Nabal of Carmel in Judah. And David brought up his men who were with him, each one with his household, and they lived in the cities of Hebron. Then the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. Then they told David, it was the men of Jabesh-Gilead who buried Saul. So David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh-Gilead and said to them, may you be blessed by the Lord, because you showed this graciousness and loyalty to Saul your lord king and buried him. Now may the Lord show loving kindness and truth and faithfulness to you. I too will show this goodness to you, because you have done this thing. So now let your hands be strong and be valiant, for your lord Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah has anointed me king over them. Now Saul's cousin Abner, the son of Ner, commander of Saul's army, had taken Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim. He made
that a thing?
I don't know.
What was that?
He made him king over Gilead. I'll try again when it's later. He made him king over Gilead, over the Asherites, over Jezreel, over Ephraim, over Benjamin, even over all of Israel except Judah. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he became king over Israel, and he reigned for 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. And the time that David was king of Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Now Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim, I'll try it again later, to Gibeon. Joab, David's nephew, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David also went out and met them by the pool of Gibeon. They sat down with one group on one side of the pool and the other group on the other side of the pool. Then Abner said to Joab, "Let the young man now stand and have a contest before us." And Joab said, "Let them stand." So they stood up and went over by number, 12 for Benjamin and Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. Each one of them seized his opponent by the head and thrust his sword into his opponent's side. So they fell down together. Therefore, that place was called Helkath Hazarim, that is, the field of sides, which is in Gibeon. There was a very fierce battle that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were beaten before the servants of David. 3 sons of Zeruiah, the half-sister of David, were there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. Now Asahel was as light and swift-footed as one of the wild gazelles in the field. Asahel pursued Abner and did not turn to the right or left as he followed him. Then Abner looked behind him and said, "Is that you, Asahel?" He answered, "It is I." So Abner said to him, "Turn to your right or your left and grab one of the young men and take his armor for yourself." But Asahel was not willing to turn away from pursuing Abner. Abner repeated again, "Turn away from following me. Why should I have to strike you to the ground? How would I be able to face Joab, your brother, and look him in the eye?" But Asahel refused to turn away. So Abner struck him in the abdomen with the butt end of his spear, and the spear came out his back, and he fell there and died on the spot. And it came about that everyone who came to the place where Asahel fell and died stood still and reflected. But Joab and Abishai, Asahel's brothers, pursued Abner. When the sun was going down, they came to the hill of Ammah, which is in front of Giah, on the way to the wilderness of Gibeon. And the sons of the tribe of Benjamin gathered together behind Abner and became one troop and took their stand on the top of the hill. Then Abner called to Joab, "Must the sword devour forever? Do you not know that it will be better in the end? How long will it be before you tell the people to stop pursuing their brothers?" Joab said, "As God lives, if you had not spoken, the people certainly would have stopped pursuing their brothers in the morning." So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the people halted and no longer pursued Israel, nor did they fight any more. Then Abner and his men went through the Arabah desert region all that night, crossed the Jordan, went through Bithron, and walked the whole morning, and came to Mahanaim, where Ishbosheth ruled Israel. Joab returned from pursuing Abner, and when he'd gathered all the people together, 19 of David's servants were missing, besides Asahel. But the servants of David had struck down many of Benjamin and Abner's men, so 360 men died. And they picked up the body of Asahel and buried him in the tomb of his father in Bethlehem. Then Joab and his men walked all night, and they arrived in Hebron at daybreak.
Boom.
So why do I need to watch 12 Monkeys when I can just read about this craziness in the Bible? There we go. I also want to know why some names from the Bible, like that's a Bible name, like David and Benjamin and Joshua and Jacob, and like why we use these names as like
Instead
common.
Mahanaim.
Instead, there is a spider above your head.
Oh, it's this baby. Got him.
Oh my gosh.
I expected to see a
so
tarantula.
Sorry.
I literally expected to see like a tarantula descending upon me. It was microscopic.
You're so brave. You just are like, woo. Okay.
Got
sorry.
him.
Whew, I'm hot. I hate spiders. Okay.
Just like David's men whoop
David's
these
mighty
kids'
men.
butts.
Anyway, why are David, Joshua, Jacob, all those like normal names, Benjamin? And then why aren't we using Abner and Ner and Ishbosheth? And
Because those names are dumb.
that's true.
I'm just kidding.
It's true. Sorry, Abner.
I don't
sure
know
there's an
why.
Abner.
I don't know why.
Okay, anyway.
Do you know why?
No.
We're gonna do some research on that.
Yep.
But before that, I want to jump into the question when David inquired of the Lord, "Where shall I go up?" And it's just a really simple thought. When he inquired of God, "Shall I go up to any of the cities of Judah?" The Lord said, "Go up." And he said, "Where shall I go up?" And he said, "Hebron." And I just thought, man, I need to be asking God more questions. Like I need to be asking him more and quit telling him what I need to be doing all the time.
That's good.
And what I think I need to do all the time. And I need to say, God, what do you want me to do?
Where do you want me to go?
And it reminded me of a message I preached on 3-4 weeks ago about Paul, who when he was converted in Acts chapter 9, he had fallen off of his horse. A great light, bright light shone about him. It blinded him. He fell off his horse. He said, "Lord, who are you, Lord? Like who's talking to me right now?" And it was Jesus. And he asked Jesus, "Lord, what do you want me to do?" And it just reminded me of the thought of being open to God and to be open to him, to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, not just be sensitive, but actually in action to say, Lord, what do you want me to do? Like, God, what do you want me to do about this situation?
Yeah.
I think so often I tend to not ask God what to do. I tend to kind of just procrastinate until it comes to me. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
It's just like,
I'll figure it out.
This,
Yeah.
you know? And one thought that I shared is if you want to follow God, you want to be great, you want to know the path he has for you. David is fighting through Saul's death, okay, which created a ton of chaos, a ton of miniature kings trying to rise up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that's going on in David's life right now. This is the time where he needs to say, God, what should I do?
Yeah.
If David wasn't asking that question, imagine one of these other kings started asking that question. Would we be even talking about David right now?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a good
know.
point.
Like if David was just doing his own thing.
We'd be naming our sons Ishbosheth.
Yeah, Ishbosheth, man. The star of Ishbosheth. Like, seriously though, like David's willingness to continue to seek the Lord and go, God, what do you want me to do? Pave the way for his kingdom and his kingship.
Legacy.
And I think the same would kind of go along for us, is the fact that our continual openness to God. And if you missed the message, I really encourage you to go back and listen to it, because I'm sharing this concept that we're like all wearing a sign around our neck that says closed for business.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not only not open to God, but we're also not open to the needs of other people around us.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big deal. We are blind to other people's needs. And I've noticed a trend in certain people that this season has caused some people to be blind to the needs of the church.
Mm.
And they come to church, but they don't see the needs in the church. They don't see the need to serve.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see the need to give.
Mm-hmm.
They are so concerned about their own needs, they've become consumers
Yep.
of Christianity inside a church.
Yeah.
And a church that is full of consumers is a powerless church.
Yeah.
Continually draining other people's generosity.
Yeah.
And other people's gifts
Yeah.
and callings.
That's good.
No, we're not consumers.
And they're stealing from themselves too, because there is a blessing commanded on unity and serving and giving of yourselves and all of these things. Give and it shall be given to you. All of, there is cause and effect.
Yeah.
To
So
participate
what's
in.
causing you to not give? Like most people, if they're honest, they have finances to give. Like even if it's a dollar. Like my daughter has $1. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, it's not, well, I have $0. What is it that's preventing you from giving? Finances, like seriously, or serving, or giving of your time. But just talk about finances for a second. What's stopping you? It's not money. You don't realize the need, and you also don't realize that God wants to use you to take care of that need. Like, that's what you got to understand. God wants to do it through you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it through someone else. He wants to do it through you.
I think this could be harsh, but I think it's an actual lack of trust in God. Because if you read what God says about giving and how seriously he takes it, and you trust him, you trust that give and it shall be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and you give because God loves a cheerful giver, and you actually ask God, should I do this? And you participate in that process with him, and you have dialogue with him, like you'll do it because you trust him.
Like back in Mark, when we studied Mark last week, Mark chapter 10, there was a part of the chapter I didn't read or didn't say, but it was a woman who gave a gift of an alabaster
Yes,
perfume.
I wanted to talk about that too.
That was a fortune.
Yeah.
And a memorial was made to her name.
Yes.
Forever.
And they said, we will talk about her
Forever.
forever. For people who believe in Jesus, we'll talk about her forever. And we're talking about her right now.
Yeah. Okay. So does my giving equate to people will talk about me forever? No, but your giving prepares the way for your legacy,
Yeah.
your children's future,
Yeah.
your children's children's future. I tithe, not for myself, but I tithe for my grandchildren I don't even have yet.
Yeah.
You know what I tithe for too? Your grandchildren.
Yeah.
Like other people's grandchildren. I give the church tithes for our own good, yes, but also for the good of the future, literally.
Yep.
People have made this big thing about with COVID, like wear the mask for somebody else, get vaccinated for somebody else, all this stuff for somebody else. We're doing it for somebody else. You know what? Giving, sometimes you do need to think about somebody else besides yourself.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about giving of your time, of your talents, of your money, it is for yourself. It is for other people. And we can do so much more together than we can do separate. As a church, when the earthquakes hit Haiti, we are partners with Convoy of Hope, mission partners, and they were immediately in Haiti. And because people give financially to East Coast, guess what?
We got to be a part of that.
We got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Immediate in Haiti. You know, they got hit with an earthquake. Hundreds of people died immediately, like literally overnight. Others died. Others were hurt. And there was a tropical depression on top of them, like the next day. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to pray. Yeah, but we're also going to do something about it. We were able to do something about it immediately because one of our missions partners is actually, they're about crisis. They go in and they feed people. Disaster relief.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. We can do more together than we can do separately. Lord, what do you want me to do? Where do I need to go? God, how can I be a part of what you're doing in this world? Am I going to be over here shut down? Like, don't mess with me. You know, don't.
So the message you're referring to, I wanted to say so people could go back and look at it, was from our On the Big Screen series, our last series.
Number 2.
Number 2, The Jungle Cruise. So I would go back and watch. It was really good. Really, really good. Verse, I actually picked the same verse for
But I didn't talk about tithing and that or giving.
No, that was just
so
bonus.
Just so you know.
This was just bonus. This is the Holy Spirit leading us. So I picked for my soap, which I explained in depth last week. If you want to go back to our Monday episode of Morning Breath, I believe on August 30th. But I picked verse 1, the same verse, and you did that to me the other day too. We picked the same verse. So it happened after this, David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into one of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said to him, go up. David asked, where shall I go? And he said, to Hebron or Hebron. And my observation is that Saul had just died. Like Matt said, it was a big transition moment. But we have to remember that David already knew that he was anointed to be the next king of Israel. Like, how easy would it have been to be like, yes, I'm sad Saul died, although I'm not maybe super sad because he did try to kill me like 17 times. But now's my moment. Now I know it's time. It's my time. I know I'm anointed. Like, God sent Samuel to anoint me the next king of Israel. He passed all my brothers and he chose me out of the fields. He made my dad go get me out of the fields, even though he was trying to overlook me. And he chose me and he anointed me to be the next king of Israel. Now's my time. Would that not have been? That's what I would have been thinking, for real.
Yeah.
And he still chose to say,
God, what do you want me to
to
do?
where shall I go? What should I do? And then God told him what to do, but he said, where shall I go? And he was so humble to inquire of the Lord. And my application for that is never assume what you are supposed to do. Ask God.
Yeah.
David, that was his moment. You know, like, it's just so impactful to me to think that he knew and he waited and he was honorable.
It's so easy to become an expert that you stop asking God.
Yeah.
I've fallen prey to that a few times in my life, of advice giving, right? Where people are like, Pastor Matt, what do I do about this situation? What do I do about that situation? What do I do about this? What do I do about? I got to the point where I started being asked questions that I was like, don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and I realized, what have I been relying on? Wisdom, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm going to rely on the Spirit of the Lord and wisdom. And so I'm going to say now, if you ask me what to do, unless it's like insanely simple and there's like a verse I can just give you immediately, I'm going to say, well, what do we think the Lord's saying to do in this?
Mm-hmm.
And just the other day, someone said, should I move back to Pennsylvania or stay here in Florida? And I was like, tell me about it. Like, give me a little more information. And they said they felt like God was calling them to stay here. And I was like, well, if you feel like the Lord is leading you to stay here, then guess what? That's where you need to be. You need to follow the Spirit of the Lord.
Yeah.
And you can also change your mind.
Yeah.
If you don't like it.
Yeah.
And you realize you made a mistake.
Yeah.
So go with what the Spirit of God is saying right now.
Follow peace.
You know, follow the peace of the Lord. And I just would recommend to you guys, as we shut down the show today, as we close it out, follow God, ask him what to do, even if you know about your finances, retirement, anything, about your kids, ask him anyway. humble yourself.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what he'll tell you to do.
Yeah.
He knows things you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks for listening to the broadcast. Check out our shows on the other shows this week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Morning Breath podcast. If you did, we would love for you to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. To follow along with our daily chapter list and for quick access to East Coast podcasts, events, and more, download the East Coast app. It's the best way to stay connected with everything East Coast. We would also love for you to join our online community. Just search for East Coast Christian Center on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks again for listening to the Morning Breath podcast.